Hello, Ocean City High School. Mrs. Oves here, and I am going to be walking you through the college essay writing tutorial. Um, and I'm just going to pull up the slideshow now. And that is not the right one. My apologies. Bear with me. I'm so sorry. Okay, here we go. Play from the start. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking to you about the college essay and the things that are important to know about the college essay. So I know we're fortunate this year that you are going to be partnering up with your 11th grade English teacher and getting a jump start on this process, which is a huge advantage, especially given the pandemic. We feel that the college essay is going to be more important than ever before. Now, certainly that isn't to scare you. It's just that we're extremely grateful for the partnership and getting you all up and running a little bit earlier than we normally would have. Usually seniors don't start their college essays till the summer between junior and senior year. So before we get started in talking about the college essay, I just wanted to reiterate what's most important in the college essay, in the college application process. And it's always been the transcript, you know, your courses, the grades in those courses, you know, what you've earned, and have you challenged yourself from year to year. So that's first and foremost. And then they're looking at letters of recommendation, your resume or activity list. Then they're going to cycle down to the testing. Now that we're going to see a lot more test optional schools for next year, but this is certainly something that will be taken into consideration for certain schools. And then some of you may be applying to specialized programs such as architecture or visual performing arts related majors, so you might have to do a portfolio or an audition. And then some colleges and universities do alumni interviews as well as on-campus interviews. So sometimes those will play a role. And then comes the college essay. So we don't want you to get super stressed over the essay, but we want you to take it seriously. Before we get started in the bulk of the essay presentation, I just wanted to talk about things like your transcript. You can't go back and change what you did 9th and 10th grade, but what you do have control over is your final marking period now and what you do with your essay and your application and how you interview. So you do still have some control over your outcome. So that's why we think it's so important to get you started in the writing process now. So the college essay demonstrates your writing ability, creativity, shows off a little bit of your personality, maybe what's important to you and how you've grown and changed or what's shaped the person that you've become. A lot of students feel that colleges and universities look at the essay all the same, and that's not the case at all. If you're looking at a school like Williams or Brandeis or Vassar, you know, they're going to spend a lot of time critiquing and analyzing your essay. But if you're applying to Rutgers or Penn State, it doesn't really matter what the college essay looks like because they're not reading it. They don't have time. They have too many applicants. So it's certainly not the same everywhere. Common mistakes that students make, the number one mistake that students make is they don't answer the question that's being asked of them. So you want to be mindful of what question you're answering and making sure you cycle back and you're sure that you're answering that question. Students oftentimes think about admissions people as being old and stuffy and not with the times, and that's not the case. You might have admissions panels or committees that are comprised of recent college graduates at 21, 22 years of age, all the way up to 80 years of age. So you want to keep your reader in mind and keep your content relatable for those age groups. So you don't want to speak in slang or a certain technology that maybe a 70-year-old wouldn't understand, but you also don't want to leave out that 21, 22-year-old either. So just keep that in mind, that that's your audience that you're writing to. Don't try too hard to be so super creative and super memorable. You know, what they're looking for, it's basically an on-paper interview. So what they're looking for is to learn about you, who you are as a person, what makes you tick, what you're going to bring to that college or university campus, and what's shaped you. get away from writing a predictable essay. I'm going to show you a short sample of like one that we consider dead on arrival. You know, it just doesn't have any personality. When you talk about growth or change, you want to talk about specifically what that growth or change was. You don't want to just simply say, oh, it changed me for the better. How? Why? What occurred in that event that really, you know, grabbed you and molded you. Remember that your teachers, fortunately for you, you have a tremendous support in your current teacher and your senior year English teacher. So please rely on them to assist you with proofreading and editing. I'm available as well to take a look at college essays and, you know, choose a friend or a family member or both, but don't have too many editors. Some students get in that pitfall too, where they end up getting so many opinions, they don't know which end is up. So 5 myths about the college essay. You must write something about something that nobody else has. You know, that is not the case at all. You can write about your drive to school. Some of the best essays I've ever read were about their favorite childhood show, Mr. Rogers or The Magic School Bus. There isn't a right answer to every question. It's just you're writing about you. So that's your truth. So there is no right or wrong. You don't have to be super funny or clever if that's not your personality. If it is your personality, then you want to showcase that, and that's okay. And again, you don't have to write the essay alone. And I did mention this earlier, the essay doesn't get you in, but it certainly enhances your application and can make it better. So what are they looking for in the essay? And what can the essay do for you? It personalizes your application. So it's an on-paper interview. It gives your application life. It's not just your name, address, phone number, GPA, transcript. It's like this person is living, breathing, and has had experiences that we find interesting. Again, you don't want to focus on material that you've already focused on in your application itself. So the essay should be an enhancement of your application. So if you've highlighted all your athletics, maybe you want to talk a little bit about creative writing because that's your passion, or you know, somebody that's been influential in your life or an experience that they can't find somewhere else on the application. So they want to know if you can write. I mean, that's really important in college. Once you get there, you'll see some of your finals are just, you know, a 5 to 10 page theme paper, and that's your entire grade. So they want to know that you can handle it and that you can write. Make sure that you seek editing, proofreading, and spell check. And this is just an aside, but you know, a lot of students make the mistake of when they reuse an essay from one college to the next, but they input the college or university name. They don't take it out and then they send it to another school. So Cornell is getting Dartmouth's essay, and that just doesn't bode well for you. So just be mindful of that too when you're proofing and editing. Can you think? Again, like I mentioned earlier, the essay is an enhancement of your application. And one of the things that's really great about the college essay is it can help a student convey the way that they process information, maybe the things that they value, the things that are important to them, and that can seriously enhance an application as well. You know, did you pay somebody to write your essay? You know, they can tell the difference between a 40-year-old college planning professional's essay versus a 17, 18-year-old student's essay. So, and they can also tell if it's a parent voice as well. So you just want to make sure that it's personal to you and your voice. So what does the process look like? And I know the English staff is going to focus on this a great deal, but this was, this screen was originated from Harvard. So I really like it. I think it's a great way to strategize and plan your college essays. So first you're going to brainstorm, and we'll talk about that and how you can do that. Then you organize it, then you write, and then you rewrite and edit it. So sometimes students, they don't even want to get started with the essay because they feel so overwhelmed, and it really shouldn't be that way. You know, the brainstorming process, like I said earlier, there's no right or wrong answer. So you're really just jotting down ideas, coming up with ways to convey who you are, what makes you tick, what are your values. So there's no pressure. So, you know, take that weight off your shoulders and just start brainstorming. So you can make a list of some of the things that you want to talk about. And one of the things that I mentioned earlier is, the focus and the proving. So you might say something like, I went, I don't know, I went skydiving and it changed me forever. Well, how did it change you? You want to think about how you're going to prove that. What did you do differently after that experience? How did that shape or mold you? Editing is so critical, and I know you'll be working on that with your English teachers. Utilize that support, listen to them. They know what they're talking about. But again, don't get too many hands in the pot because then it can get overwhelming. So if you have more than 3 or 4 people editing your essay, you're going to get overwhelmed. So just keep that at a minimum. All writers get help. So, ask for help, seek it. We are here to support you. And, you don't want to oversell yourself either. Be authentic in your essay. Be proud of who you are. I had one of my favorite essays that I ever read was about a student in her first 2 years of high school. She really was a slacker and she wasn't academically motivated. And then she talked about her aha moment, how she turned around her grades and overcame it, and what she did as a result of that. And I thought that really helped her application. And she was accepted to her top choice school. And that was something that she really focused on in her essay. And that's something that you can do as well. You don't have to be fake or phony, but it is an on-paper interview. So you don't want to be, negative about yourself either. So why do essays fail? I read an essay by a student that was writing about a very difficult and traumatic event in her life. The problem with it was not that she was writing about a traumatic event in her life, but that she never really told the reader anything about herself. She wrote all about the tragic event, but the university didn't learn anything about who she was as a person and why it made her better on the other side. So you just want to be mindful of that. If you're writing about, somebody that's influenced you, it's fine to talk a little bit about who they were, but you really want to relate it to who you are, and not spend the whole essay writing about that particular person. So you could say something like, Aunt Florence really changed me for the better. And then you want to expand on that. Cite specific examples of how you changed and why that made a difference in your life, not that it changed me for the better, period, and then you don't expand on it. So this is what we like to call dead on arrival. So if you read this sample, it doesn't really tell you anything about the student, except that the student's has a career goal, and that's great, but you don't learn anything about the student that is unique, or you don't find anything out about their personality. So that is not a good essay, because there are so many essays like that. And take it from me, I used to work in admissions. Personalizing an essay can make all the difference. We read thousands of essays, and if you can really make it about you and really teach them about who you are and your story and your journey, it really can make a positive impact on your application. So if you're like I was in high school, I was a procrastinator, and I had a tough time thinking about what essay topics I could write about. These are some strategies that you can use. So the one up top is my favorite. We keep photographs and awards, trinkets, maybe, a piece of jewelry or a shell that you found on a vacation or something like that. Pick 3 things that you are really important to you that are in your room or in your house. And then think about how you could write an essay about that. Because that is really telling. You've kept it close to you. It's important enough for you to have it on your person. So that's a great way to generate some ideas. Your photo albums, obviously that's kind of outdated. So, take a look at your cell phone, look at your pictures or your stories, things maybe that you posted on Instagram that were really important to you. that can be a great way to incite some ideas. Talk to parents or coaches or teachers. One of the things that's really cool is when you say to a coach, how do you see me, or what do you think sets me apart from other players? They'll be able to rattle it off the top of their head, no problem. Even your parents, your friends, family members, they know you better than anybody, and could give you some ideas. And the last one I really like is think about something you used to believe in but don't anymore. So, and it could be something as simple as, vanilla ice cream used to be my favorite, but now, I've expanded my horizons and I'm looking at Rocky Road as my new favorite. You can talk about how, throughout high school, as you became open to new things and challenges, you've grown. So there's a lot of great ideas for you to get started. Things to remember, and I said this a few times already in this video, but make sure that you're talking about yourself. Don't spend your whole essay talking about Uncle Charlie who motivated you. Sure, talk about Uncle Charlie as being an influential person in your life, and then you want to talk about how you use that knowledge and that mentorship. Make you as the subject, and again, this is an enhancement to your application, so it can make it a better application as a result of a solid essay. And this is just a tip for parents if you're watching this video. Parents should not be writing essays, and we cannot shield them from rejection. So, what you can do is you can cheer them on, and we're all on the same team, and we want to coach them to write the best essay possible and to make sure that their applications are as strong as possible. So we're there to proofread and edit and cheer them on and support them. And this one is my favorite. Be there to lend a sympathetic ear. It can be stressful sometimes when you're getting ready to hit the submit button, but just giving them that support and that encouragement. And also keeping in mind that if a college or university doesn't accept you for one reason or another, and maybe you really were passionate about your college essay, and the college didn't like what they read, then that's not a good college for you. You're not going to be able to thrive in that environment if they didn't see the value in the essay that you wrote. So keep that in mind too. And then finally, there's no need to panic. There's no right or wrong answers. You've been writing since kindergarten, and you have a fabulous English teacher who can help you with this process. But it's introduction, body, and conclusion, making sure periodically that you cycle back to the essay question itself, and assuring yourself that you're actually answering the question. And again, it's all about you, and there is no wrong answer. I just want to take a few minutes to thank Mrs. Barnes and the English teachers for allowing me to partner with them and to partner with you and your family in making sure that you have as much support and guidance in the essay writing process as possible. And just to reiterate, I'm happy to review your college essays, or if you need help generating topics. But again, I am not an English teacher. I will not look at your college essay for grammatical or structural correctness. I'm really going to be giving you the admissions perspective on the college essay. So I'm here to help you as well as all the other counselors, and we really want to thank you for allowing me to share this video with you today.